I'm really happy I waited to do this video until after that last episode dropped. For those of you that don't know, today was the last episode of Techland's Dying to Know series. Basically, about 20 to 30 minute long episodes where the developers showcase certain aspects of the game. We've had an episode on parkour, we had an episode on combat, the infected, the world, another episode on the music. Today was an episode that basically showed off co-op, showed off some new gameplay trailers, and was kind of just an overall farewell, a thank you note. 6 years of hard work and dedication on a game that a lot of us have been very impatiently waiting for. But it's kind of funny how this worked out, because I was just working on this theory video that this trailer seems to more or less corroborate. But in the trailer, we see Aiden in the hospital with the sister, a moment where they get torn apart. We see what appears to be Aiden on an operating table and being injected with some type of substance. And what I thought was, if it was true and he was experimented on as a kid, I assumed that he was being purposely inoculated with some form of the Haran virus that potentially the GRE or maybe some other organization was experimenting on and mutating. Because as we know in the original Dying to Know episodes, Techland mentioned that a handful of scientists in secret were mutating the virus to try and find commercial and military applications. So in the theory, I predicted that if he was getting experimented on, potentially he was being inoculated by the blood of Kyle Crane. That's also assuming that the canonical ending to the following is Kyle actually turning and escaping out of the city of Haran. Maybe the GRE captured him when he turned into the Night Hunter, dead or alive, and when they transferred him to a medical facility to experiment and dissect his body while he was still dead or alive, they managed to get an active virus out of his blood and use that as a basis to form a new program of human experimentation, just to see the full extent of the virus's capabilities. Now in the following DLC, we also see the mother, who is capable of some form of humanity. She can still communicate, she can still restrain herself to a degree. She's still morally, technically human, yet that came at the cost of her physical appearance. Physically, she's not human anymore. She also has an ability that even humans don't have, and that's the ability to communicate telepathically. So with that in mind, I was thinking that if they can get the genetic coding correctly, then maybe they can create a race of superhumans that aren't purely driven by instinct and pain and hurt like the infected are. They're able to keep their physical appearance and everything else that makes them human. The ability to communicate, talk, think, react passionately with emotion. Techland said that the virus was meant to be military or commercial use. It would make sense to have it where, for military use, you want it to where people can actually be controlled. They're physically more adept. But if you just release the virus in this stage, or the stage it was in Haran, then it's just complete fallout, complete chaos. You know, we know everyone in Dying Light 2 is infected, including Aiden Caldwell. Techland's really made it a point to make sure that everyone knows that even though everyone's infected in this world, Aiden is different. He has physical abilities like no other human has, which explains certain skills in the skill tree, like the ability to jump further, and maybe he is that successful experiment. Not the successful experiment, because maybe something went awry. We do know that if he spends too much time outside of sunlight, even at night, if you're outside of a UV light for too long, the infection with Aiden starts to progress until eventually he dies, or in other words, completely transforms into an infected. But maybe he's the step in the right direction, where he keeps his humanity, he keeps the ability to think, but his physical reaction, his strength, his stamina, all that stuff is increased. Now, because we don't go for cliches around here, I was also thinking that because most likely a lot of kids were experimented on, Aiden wouldn't be the only one that was able to bond successfully with whatever virus he was exposed to, but maybe there's other people like him that we might come across. And in the trailer, we see someone like that. We see a guy fighting two other guys. He looks physically completely fine, he talks completely fine, but he fights and moves like something else. Depending on how the infection occurred, what they were infected with, the environments, and a bunch of little other factors that go into play when the infection was halted. You know, how far did it progress until you caught it and managed to keep it at bay? Maybe all these little things played into what defines being that next step in human evolution, or turning into a viral and just kind of going off the walls. In simpler terms of what I'm getting at, if you ever seen the Resident Evil movies, how Alice bonds with the T-virus, you know, she doesn't have any of those negative, ugly traits. She's still basically human, but all of her abilities are enhanced. That's basically what I mean. Maybe we might see something like that here with Aiden and with this guy. The trailer also mentioned a Kyle Crane.
Who would have thought the end of the world could be so peaceful? I wish Crane could have seen this.
If you guys recognize this voice or who this might be from the original game, let me know. If anything, that confirms that Kyle died. It's just a matter of figuring out when, and how. That's gonna wrap it up for here. I mean, I'm gonna go back and look at more of what was shared with this Dying to Know episode and crack out some more videos. I've never been so excited for a game, at least not in recent memory, especially after seeing a trailer. But let me know what you guys think. Like always, feel free to join the Discord. Link will be down in the pinned comment. It's one of the ways to yell at me directly, or you can follow me over on Twitter, where I'm always saying some stupid shit. But in the meantime, let me know what you think about this theory. But until next time, I'll see y'all later.